Alright, I have an iPhone 10 here with it's boot looping, water damaged, yada yada yada. It's a pretty common problem with the iPhone 10. Um, I actually had a friend that thought it was waterproof and jumped into the water with it, and it took some amazing pictures under the water, but after after they came up, the phone started boot looping and all this water damage, Face ID was jacked up and everything. So anyways, it's a pretty common problem because there's still holes in this phone that can leak into the phone, even though they've sealed it up pretty good. It's just not perfect yet, and I think it's probably not going to happen until they get rid of a few things like lightning jack. And the other point of entry is that is the ambient light sensor at the top there, right there. Okay, so what are we doing here? So I just took the flex out. By the way, I'm recording this after I made the video because I forgot to turn the sound on. So it's only 20 minutes, so it's not too bad. But 20 minutes times 2 is 40 minutes. Anyways, I took the flex off. It's boot looping, and it doesn't look too bad. You can't really see the water damage at all or anything like that. But Apple logo back to black. You can actually hear the chime, and right as you hear the chime, it goes to back again. So we don't really know too much about Face ID. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. What we do know is that there are certain components that are required for Face ID, and in this video, I'm kind of gonna go over what is required and what is not. So right now, I'm just disconnecting the air speaker flex just to verify that that is indeed the issue that is causing the boot loop. So as you can see here in a little bit, it's gonna boot up. Okay, so it boots up fine, no problem. So we have isolated the problem to the air speaker flex. It's charging at 2 amps, so charge port seems fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to experiment with this air speaker flex to see if we can get Face ID working. Because a lot of times, you can't really replace the flex, because if you replace the flex, then Face ID is not going to work anymore, because the dot projector the flood illuminator is required for Face ID. And so the air speaker flex is comprised of a handful of things here. One is the air speaker, which is that little silver thing down there, and then you have this ambient light sensor here. And you see a little bit of corrosion there, and that's pretty standard because that's typically where the water enters. And then you have the flood illuminator there, and from what we know, that is required for Face ID to work, and that is the only thing that's required for Face ID to work. You see a little corrosion on the air speaker flex as well. So what I'm gonna do, I already know what happened because I made this video a while back, or I mean like earlier today. But anyways, what I'm gonna do first, my strategy was to just start removing things one by one. And what I talk about here is that somebody mentioned that there's an EEPROM inside the flood illuminator that you can take out and transplant it to another flex and get it to work that way, but it's not a very easy thing because you have to kind of cut the plastic away and heat it very very lightly, and you have to cut it to a new flex and transplant. It's just a nightmare. So let's see, since there's a little bit of corrosion on the air speaker, I'm going to go ahead and and it's only 2 solder points. I'm just going to disconnect 2 solder points and then boot the phone up, see if that boots up or not. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ambient light sensor off, because those, that's the air speaker is the easiest, the ambient light sensor is the second easiest. Dot projector I haven't had any luck with. So I'm not going to do anything with that until I know for certain that that is the issue, if that is the issue. And yeah, I don't know what it is about this damn flood illuminator. I think it's maybe the heat. I don't know. I'm not sure if others have had issues with it transplanting it or not, or if others have gotten it to work or not, but I haven't. But I've done it probably less than 5 times, so I don't know. So let's see. Okay. Yeah, it seems as though the heat messes up the heat to remove the solder, the heat to remove it from the flex. The heat to remove the flood illuminator from the flex maybe destroys it or something. I'm not exactly sure, but it's best to just avoid messing with it until you've isolated the problem to that damn flood illuminator. Okay, so now I'm just going to remove the air speaker flex, and it's really, really simple. Just put a little flux on there and dabble with your soldering iron, and the two little things come off, and that's it. So now I'm going to plug the flex back into the phone, see if it boots up or not. My guess is probably no, because I don't think it's the air speaker that is the problem, but I'm just going to go ahead and rule it out anyways, since it's the easiest. I got this new camera mount that's pretty good. It's like a gooseneck, let's see, 25-inch, and it allows me to move my camera around my whole desk for the most part fairly easily. And now I have two cameras and a microscope camera. I'm trying to up my game a little bit, but there's upping your game, and then the ease of creating videos. I know some people that edit their videos after they make them, and that's just a nightmare. I don't know if I'll ever do that. You got to save all that stuff to a SD card. You got to take the SD card out, transfer it over to some sort of video editing software. You got to cut, paste, narrate, all that bullshit. That's like 3-hour ordeal, man. I don't have that time, man. I mean, I do have that time sometimes, but that's not something I'd want to spend 2 hours on. Even though their video game is good, strong. Mine is not very strong. Well, it's not bad, but anyways, the phone. Let's get back to the iPhone 10. I digress. It's still boot looping, so that is not the issue, as you will see here. So I'm gonna get over to the flex here, and now I'm gonna take the ambient light sensor off and then reboot it again, see if that works. I'm just sitting here listening to this Santa Clarita school shooting again. Nuts, man. It seems as so some Asian kid decided to shoot some kids up in the school. Sangus High School. Anyways, we will not talk politics on this channel. Okay, so I'm actually using. Well, I started off with a very low heat, high flow. So I think I was at 280 degrees Celsius with airflow of maybe 80. But that wasn't really working, so I ended up turning it up to about 340 degrees Celsius with airflow of 80. That seemed to work a little bit better, but I think you can probably go down to about 300, or you can experiment, because I think my hot gun runs a little bit cooler than most, so I have to turn it up a little bit hotter. So now here I am turning it up a little bit, turning up the heat a little bit, and it'll just pop off once the solder melts. You can probably for my hot air station, I can probably get about 320, and it'll be good. Unfortunately, my hand is blocking this thing, so as you can see, I'm not fully. I don't have everything fully set up yet for maximum viewage through the camera. Took a little longer than I wanted, but anyways, it's off now, and I think think I just used a little IPA to clean off the flex a little bit because there's definitely a little bit of corrosion on there that you can see. So I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. I'm going to plug it back into the phone and test it. I'm in desperate need of some coffee. Or coffee. Alright, so what else can we talk about? Let's see. I got nothing. I'm about putting myself to sleep here. Alright, there you go. Boots up. Boom. No Face ID problem. So that's a good sign, but it's not guaranteed that Face ID is actually going to work on this. So I think what I'm gonna do is just disconnect it, and then screw it back in, and then see if Face ID works or not. Probably should have just done that anyways instead of doing this bullshit. Oh, I think I'm gonna put this air speaker back first. Yeah, I'm gonna pop the air speaker back first, and then I'm gonna put it back into the screen, screw it in, test it, and ambient light sensor is not required, really. For operation. I mean, Face ID is way more important than ambient light sensor. So, I mean, it's okay to just leave it off. I ended up putting it back, but just putting another donor one on there, and I don't even know. I'm not even sure exactly how to test it, aside from making a phone call, which I don't have an active SIM card. Anyways, so just put these two solder points back on, reconnect the air speaker to the flex, and then test Face ID, see if it recognizes and scans my face. And then that's it. Invoice the customer, send it back. Well, let's see. I'll just let this go for a little bit until I see something exciting, and then I'll talk about it. As you can see, I'm like super excited about this. Doing this thing twice. No. Let's see. Oh, it is. Nice. Alright, so not a whole lot going on here, okay, still. So I'm just gonna do a little online shopping while this boring video finishes up. Damn, I should just speed this damn thing up. It's boring as hell. So as you will see, this thing is gonna boot up. So he's gonna boot up, and I'm gonna test the Face ID is gonna work. You guys cannot see my face, so I'm hiding it. So, but you'll have to trust me on this. Actually, I'll show it to you later. It's gonna say Face ID complete. So, what we've learned is that ear speaker is not required for Face ID, which I think most of us already knew. This just confirms it for me, at least. And the ambient light sensor is not required for the Face ID to work, which I think we already knew, but I always wondered. And so it seems like the only thing that's really necessary on the Flex is the flood illuminator, which is required. And we know that transplanting that that thing is not very easy. So don't do it until you absolutely have to do it. Okay, so in a second here you'll see Face ID complete. And I think that's probably just going to end this video, because I've wasted 40 minutes of my life already. There you go, Face ID is now set up. So you can, usually, from my experience, usually it's the ambient light sensor that's corroded. So I think, you know, if you don't want to like use heat, you can probably just snip it off. If you really want to, you can use some scissors and just cut the flex right there, and you'll be fine. And that'll kind of solve your issue. You just want to have an ambient light sensor, but means that I guess the screen won't go dark, you know, when it's you know what? I wonder, is there a way I can test it somehow? Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. Can I? Let me oh, okay. So if you do something, so if you, let's see, if you put your phone up to a bright light, then it should dim, right? Is that how the ambient light sensor works? Anyways, I don't think this is working. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how to test it. And I'm supposed to be an iPhone guru. Alright, so I think that's the end of the day here. This video is going to end right now. Thanks for watching. I just want to say thank you for watching our videos on YouTube. You know, when I started microsoldering about 3 or 4 years ago, probably about 3 years ago, I started because I ended up breaking someone's phone during a repair. And this was back in the days of the iPhone 5C, and as I was disconnecting the battery, I accidentally pried off one of the little components next to the battery connector. So my options were to try to fix it or to buy the customer a new phone, and that's kind of what started this journey. Well, fast forward 3 years later, we have a website now, Microsoldering.com, and we also have an online training course. It's $99.99 if you buy it through our website, and we go over just about everything that you need to know to get started on your microsoldering journey. It's kind of sectioned out into about 4 parts, and the first part we just kind of go over all the basics, the tools, how to use diode mode, and what kind of tools and equipment to buy and stuff like that. The second part we talk a little bit about ZXW tools, and in the third part we go over 4 of the most common repairs. Let's update this. It should be 4 common most. So it's basically no touch, no backlight, no power, and we just added a section for audio IC on the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. And then the last part is data recovery, no boot, and just kind of a very basic discussion about data recovery. So if you want to buy it, just go to microsoldering.com, click on Store, Shop, and then you'll come to this page right here. Just click on Buy at Udemy, and that'll take you to Udemy where our course is hosted. And you can even preview some videos of the course and see if you like it or not. And right now we're at 4.5 hours, and we're adding to it as much as we can. So just make sure you go through our website, otherwise the cost is a little bit higher. Alright, thanks for watching.